day viewers, welcome to my channel once again. Just quickly, today we are going to learn about variables and simple data types. Let us go to our IDLE, integrated learning environment for Python. Let us launch it. We'll launch it. We can have another window that look different from this. Before we go further to the variables, let me talk about this. You see this window, you read the menus. You see we have file, edit, shell, debug, options, window, and help. This is just the console. Instead of you going for the Windows command prompt, so the Python is giving you another console to interact as you usually interact in the console window, in the command prompt window there. So but today we have to go further. We have to go to, because in this console you cannot edit code. Just like if I say print hello world, print hello world. So I print it. Wow, you see it's giving me error because I made a mistake. That is what we call, and you see now, just from here, let me even explain it. You see now I made a mistake. Instead of it to allow me to go and edit it, it's not allowing it. In this place, in this console, you cannot edit code. It's just a console, a prompt console that will just accept command and then it execute it directly. So now, so you cannot edit it here. So let us start. Let us open a file. So to have a window that will allow us to edit code, so we have to go to file, new file. You can open another file. If you have another Python file on your system, you can open it with it. But now, so when I open this file, now I'll write print with the code hello world, now new code. Now you see, before I go further, you see in this window it's different from that console. In this window you see different items. We have file, edit, format, run, option, window, and help. So now, but before we could run this code, let me see. When I click run, you see the error is giving me source must be safe. Okay, you want to save it? Yeah, you have to save it before you can run it. So let me save it. To open a dialog box for me to save, just take a note of where you save your file. Just take note of where you save your file, because you might have a issue finding your file. If you just take note from the first bar there, you have to know the path to your file. This is from the CD and to many other parts. You see how the parts are aligned here. So from the CD to blah blah to program to Python 7, this way you should know that your file is. So click. Now let me save it. Let me just save it as exercise with the name exercises. Now exercises. So the file extension, that is file format for Python, is py. So you have to put .py. Even though I didn't put it, even though I did not put it, it will automatically be assigned there. But let me just put it. I put a save. Now as I save it, you just run it. this one that you are seeing, it was not this first one that shows error. You can see it usually restart, it show you restart. So this is the file is executing. You see exercises, then Python. You see exercises.py, that is the name of the file now is running. So it's just showing you the file you are running at the moment. So now to get back to where we are writing code, because this one now, after when we write code in that file, is bringing us back to the console, the one we left. So it shows you that we can go back to it. So if you want to know, sometimes maybe the console will pop up and be on top of a window. You just come to where you open this the program IDEL. So sorry, IDLE. So where you open it, you see the name of your two windows. You see this one is the Python shell, this one is the name of your file. So you click it, you are on it. So here you can edit code, you can do whatever it is you can edit. So to run code here, you just click on run or F5, run or F5. So each time you are running, so you see it here, it runs. Now when we say variables, and just think of it this way. Let's say in your house, you usually keep things in order. I believe you have store, you have many things in the stores. Let me just show you where you keep your food stuff. We have where you keep beans, rice, maggi and other stuff. Now for easy identification, we usually label all those boxes or all those containers that contain our foodstuff. Or is it bag? Is it a carton? Is it a can? So you have to label it for easy identification when next you want to come and carry. So that is what variable is. So variable in computing is just like a memory location for a value. Memory location, this is where values are stored. That is called variable. The name is called like this, variable. That is it. It's called variable. Now, so these variables, you can say variables as plural. So variable as it is spelled like this, the whole values. Any value that you turn around in your coding space has to be stored in variables. For instance, let me start by, I want to store a number, so I'll call the name of the variable number, then let me store 10 on it. Now if I want to get this number 10 into my screen, just as we did earlier with some string and some text, I will write the print function, but this time around I'm not going to use the double quotes. I will use the variable name. So if I save this file, I run it, now you see I get 10 here. So just simple, you understand that this number is referencing the value 10. So that is it. But if to say as we usually do, as you print, let me just print a name. Now just for instance, let's say we want to output this name into the screen. Now when we want to use this name later in our program, it will be a very hectic something. It will be a very tiring task for us to be writing the name on and on. But if we get a variable and then store this name on it, if we store this name in the variable, then we will just call the variable whenever we want to use it. So for instance, now if I run it to still work. Now you see we get the name Aliu down here. Now, but what if I said, let me come here and then I will just say name and I'll store the Aliu in it. Okay, I store it, I print it, and now I'm not using the name directly, I'm using the variable which is called name. If I save it, I run it, you see we still get Aliu. So that's how variable works. And as you can see, the way I assign this value, because value is what is we get after every line of code has been run successfully. So after every instruction, what we are expecting from a program is a value. So if you look at the two variables I'm having on my screen here, number and name, you see the way I assign number to the variable called number and I assign Aliu to a variable called name is different. So that is what will bring us into what we call data types, and these are simple data types. So the data types we have in Python, let me say we have numbers, that is a type of data called number. Then under number we have integer. This is I'm just writing it, this is not part of the code. Under integer we have float. So it's showing me right, this is showing you that this float is a keyword. So I think I'll use what is called comment here, so that the interpreter will not treat it as a Python code. So this is what we call comment in programming. So now let's just go with it like that. I'll explain it. So now we have under number, we have integer, we have float. So let's go with the data types called number. So under number we have numbers like let's go with the integer. So just as I did in number, let me just say num here, let me 2. Now if I say num 1 equals to 3.0, so that is the difference between number integer and number float. So integer is a whole number and float is just like they call it, have a floating point, have a decimal place. So that is it. So that is in under number data types. Okay, now let me perform a little operation here. Let me just say print can perform operation with the print function. So now I say I want to print num divided by num1, which is 3 divided by 3.0. So now when I save this, let me get rid of all this code so that they won't Okay, when I save it, I run it, you see we get 1.0. Then another data types that we are going to treat is string. String is just like let me just see, let's just say the character are being glued. They are not like integer that you directly perform operation. Their operation will perform with string, but you are getting into that. And string just appear like this, as we have been seen earlier. Then I leave. Now I'll save it, and I'll print. This interpreter is showing me name. Is it going to work? Because I can see it doesn't turn. Alright, so that is it. You see this name now is a data type of string, and string is just a just set of characters which you cannot perform operation. When I say direct operation, like, let me give you one instance here. I'll just say numbers equals to 2 plus 2. Now I save this, then let me print numbers. Now I save this, I run this. You see, how can 2 plus 2 giving us 22? 2 plus 2 is giving us 22. You know the reason? Because it has been, it's just like it has just glued them together. The character have been glued together. It's not like they have the operation of like 2 plus 2 of a normal integer. So that is the difference. So this is string. So for you are seeing it as 2 here, but the computer will treat it as string. So when I do something like let's say I say print okay, let's do the operation here. This times 3. So let's see what will happen. You see, so you can see the way it prints. So it prints the 2, that is the 22. Let me just say like it printed it 3 times. So that is it. So the operation will just happen, and it will take it as the string like that, and it will appear like that without any changes like operation. So now if I change this, if I remove this code, so I save this, then I run. You see now. So what happened here is that it took 2 plus 2 4, then it printed 4 times 3 12. So that is different between integer and string. So now that we have seen the different data types that we have, then another data type that we have is this one might be confusing to you, but that is we call it boolean type, and this is just like it's just true or false, and you can store them into variable. Variables. So I will just say, like, if you want to ask, is somebody married, you can put it equals to true, this single, equals to false. So that is it. So that is the simple data types we can work with. So at this stage, get your head around this, wrap your thought around this, and then practice. As time goes on, we'll be using this variable a lot, because they say a programmer doesn't have life, but programmers have variables. So now we are going to go through the rules of naming these variables. Variables have some certain rules that you have to take care of, and variables are case sensitive. What do I mean by case sensitive? I say name, this is capital letter, and then I store Musa here. Now another one with small letter, but this time around let me store a different name. Let me just put my name there. Now let me get rid of this so that they won't disturb us. Now okay, now let's see what this program will do. Now let me print this, the name, the one with capital letter, one that begins with capital letter, then I save it, I print it, it printed Musa. Okay, now let me just change this, and then I save it, I print it. You see, it printed Aliyu. So that's why I would say it's case sensitive. And then one good thing about Python is that Python is type dynamic. When I say type dynamic, you don't have to declare variable or define variables somewhere else before you start assigning value to them. You are just doing it dynamically as your program goes, as you are doing along the way as you are going. So now another rules of variable is that, now let me still do this and say, let me do underscore 1. Now I change this variable name to this, I printed this name underscore 1. Now let me see whether we will get error. We haven't gotten error because underscore is allowed. Now let's say we remove the underscore and we save it. I'm just looking for error. Alright, and I got it. You see? Okay. It's not like that. Let me this is not the actual error I'm looking for. But let me see this. I save it, I run it. Alright, it is correct to use number after a variable, but let's see. Okay, let me give a space like this, and then give a space between variables. and I save it and run it. You see invalid syntax. So there should not be space in between variable name, but you can use underscore. So that is rules number 1. You can get it there. Variable name shouldn't have space, but you can use underscore to have a very descriptive name. Now let me start a variable name with a number, and I'll save it. See got error. That is even highlighting it there. So you can't use a number to start a variable name. But if I use underscore in between them, let me see. Am I sure it will work? Still error. You see now you cannot start with a number, but you can use a number with underscore. And variable name should not be a name of a function that is inbuilt function for Python, just like this print that we have been using. Then I want to use this as my variable name. I don't think it will work. Alright, so we have another error here. Let me get rid of this and see whether this interpreter allows it. Now, if this works, then this interpreter has problem. Then let me run it. Alright, you see now it's already showing me the error there, and it's even showing me which line, blah blah blah. So this is so impossible to use a function name keyword. Like if we have many keywords that the program recognizes as a special case for something, just like if we have while, all this way you cannot use them as variable name. So you can learn more about the Python keywords, and as time goes on we will learn about them. Then you know that yes, these keywords that Python recognizes are for some particular function. You cannot use them as variable name. So before we go, I would like to show us some tricky things we can do with this variable. Let me just give a variable name a equals to 1. Now b equals to 4. Now first I want to swap these values. I want to take the value of b to a and value of a to b. So for me to do that, let me have a variable called c. Then I will take the value of a to store in c. Then now take the value of then store in b. I use following this flow. Just take a look at it. In a real sense, all these values that are here, they will still be there. Whenever I print to some point I'll still get b, but it's depending on how the programs read, how the Python read your code. So now take a look at, I say a equals to 2, b equals to 4. Now I say okay, c equals to a. So this is telling you that the value that is in a now is in c. So now, just like when you have 3 containers, you want to swap the what is contained in the 2 of them, then you just pack what is in one, put it in the third one, then pack the other one, put it in the second one, just like that, to swap them. So now when I print, let me start with C. Now I save it, I run it. You see, C is 2. So to show you that the value of A now is in C, so that's how you can swap variables. So you will know now when I print A now, what do you think A will be? Guess before I run it. I think it's 4. Guess before I run it. Yeah, it's 4, because that is what is in B. So now if I want to take the value of now A to B, now what will I do? I will have to say B goes to A. So I think we finally swap. So now when we print B now, I think we should get 2. We are getting 2. Are we getting 2? We are not getting 2. You know why? Because the program make use of the last instruction. So, and the last instruction there is what? The last instruction says A equals to B, and B up there is 4. So here A equals to 4, and we are carrying that 4 to store in B. So that's why we are getting 4 there. So this is how tricky how you can just tool with your program at this level. As a beginner, you have to go down and then practice little things like this. So I think I'll have to stop here, and then we will talk about this more when we get into operators and other stuff. So all these things will keep on appearing in our programs, because we can't do without data types and variables. Thank you very much for watching. See you next.